Elizabeth.
Yes.
Or should I call you Liz?
Liz is more informal. Let's go with Liz. Okay, so I guess the show is about Chinese fusion food, finding exotic interpretations of Chinese food in the US. And the fortune cookie is the symbol of that, of East meets West, because the fortune cookie it originated in the US and it's actually not from Asia. And so what we do is when we travel throughout the US in 7 cities, from the east to the west, from New York to LA, we crack a fortune cookie at each restaurant and we decode the message and interpret them, because sometimes the fortunes can be completely ridiculous, like when tide is high, life is good or something, So we have no idea what the cookie says and we crack it after each meal, after we review each restaurant, and we decode the message that will lead us to a destination or an attraction in each city that we are in. I would have to say the hardest one to interpret was actually Los Angeles. It's in the later episodes, and for me that was really hard because it was, I'm not going to say it, but it was kind of talking in riddles and I had to just zone in and figure out there and then. So it's a lot of improvisation on the show as well. Jean and I are both actors too, and we do a lot of, when we were kids, we used to do a lot of sketch videos, on our hi8 cameras, old school stuff. And so we would basically always improv with each other, and we're so used to that, and so this just felt second nature. Firstly, we're foodies, right? I mean, from Singapore, naturally foodies. So it was probably 50% of the journey. So 50% food and 50% adventure and sightseeing. So these episodes are all bite-sized. And of course, more videos are on our social media. But the main bulk of the show is food, eating, review, crack the cookie, and go on our adventure. Well, we were looking for restaurants that had reminded us of Chinese food back in Singapore, or had that taste of the motherland, which is Singapore for us. And we were actually inspired to do the show because we kept seeing Singapore noodles in every restaurant and General Tso's chicken. And I remember when I first moved to the States, everyone was like, who is General Tso? And dude, I have no idea. Like, I don't know who General Tso is either, But so these exotic interpretations of the chicken, General Tso's chicken, General Tso's tofu, and Singapore noodles, which to me, obviously coming from Singapore, that was the biggest. What is Singapore noodles? It doesn't exist in Singapore. 7 years, I've been living in the States for 7 years, or being based in the US and Singapore for 7 years from school. So I was like, this is something interesting. This is something I want to find out more throughout the US. Yeah.
Well, there might be a General Tso in the SMRT somewhere.
That could be. You know what? If General Tso, if you're in the SMRT, I want to meet you. Okay. Let's have a meal and Singapore noodles. Let's take a train ride across from east to the west. Yeah. The thing is, the restaurants that we were looking for in the US, we knew we wanted restaurants that had kind of like a different Western interpretation of the food. So we already targeted some restaurants. Some were authentic food with a little bit of a twist, like General Tso's chicken or deep fried calamari with Sichuan sauce. And, so it's a little bit of a mix. Or for example, one was Kung Pao pastrami. So it was, kind of interesting. And then another one was like Southern chicken when we went to the South. Southern chicken with hoisin bourbon sauce. So it was a surprise every time we went to try the food. I think New Orleans, or some people say New Orleans, or some people say Nolans, I'm not sure. But New Orleans was quite wild for us. It's a wild city, it's colorful, it's culturally rich, it's beautiful. And I think one of the attractions we saw, again, I don't want to reveal it, it was an old museum, that's all I'll say. And it was very interesting because, Hurricane Katrina happened. And so this museum was actually inspired from that incident, that catastrophe there. So we tried to go off the beaten path, do things that are not so touristy. And along the way, we also hung out with the locals throughout. So it was very enriching and very eye-opening, actually. Yeah. 24/7 with your partner in crime, best friend, producer, co-host. we've been working together for so long. We have producing and starring credits together. We just finished a play in Singapore as well. And so I think what's quite amazing is that we both realize that even though we're very different and we work very differently, we're working towards the same goal. We're in different paths, but we're walking almost side by side or in the same eye line. Oh yeah, day one fallout. But good fallout. Fallouts are not bad. It was very good before we started, and actually that was the only one. We only fell out the very first day, and it's good because it gets everything out on the table. It's like expectations, what we need to do, because we were doing so much of it. We were producing it, writing it, hosting it, in many ways directing it. So basically, I think it was about the schedule, the itinerary. We missed some things that are very vital on a cross-country adventure. 2 women alone doing this cross-country adventure. So we definitely were, there's some things that we missed and we had to quickly scramble to get it all together. The equipment, the scheduling, the permits. It was a lot. Ooh, what's next? I have a movie coming out in Los Angeles. Buckshot is my first feature in LA. And I get to be a badass gangster in that. So that'll be fun. I'm not sure if it's coming to Asia, but I hope it gets the Asian distribution. If not, look out for it online. Yes, we would love to take it beyond the US. This is the USA edition. Trust me, Jean and I are already plotting, not to share too much, but we're like, okay, South America, Europe, Australia, other parts of Asia, crack something else, crack coconut code, there you go. So you gave me an idea. So we definitely are plotting. We're always writing, we're always creating our own stuff. We have a duo called The Flying Bench, and that is our sketch duo. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, and all that fun stuff. And we also host together a lot we hosted the Singapore Arts Festival in New York in 2015. So we collaborate a lot, so I'm not surprised if something else comes up very soon. I'm Elizabeth Lazan. Make sure you catch Crack the Cookie Code on channel FYI or on our website at www.theflyingbench.com. Thank you.